everyone. So I've just been preparing for a weekend of parties and I thought it might be a good idea to make this video, and this is basically going to be about the cons of being a princess entertainer. Now, before I start, I'm not moaning about my job. I absolutely love entertaining children, and dressing up as princesses is like a dream. It's like what every little girl's always dreamed of doing, and the fact that I get to do it, I absolutely love it. However, I've been doing it for a very, very, very long time, and there are a few downfalls and some funny little moments that I wanted to talk about today. So the first downfall to being a party entertainer is, number one, getting to the parties can be a bit of a bit interesting. Okay, so usually if I'm doing a party, I really try to arrive not dressed as a princess, and I let the mum know this beforehand, and I'll say, can I sneak in? Have you got a room I can get changed in? The reason being because driving in a car in a full-on princess dress is a nightmare for two reasons. Firstly, obviously, if you're driving along in the car, you will get weird looks from people driving in the cars next to you. There is nothing worse than pulling up at a traffic light, turning around and seeing a car full of people staring at you like this because you're dressed as a princess. And the second reason it's awful is because most princesses have huge dresses with big underskirts. Now, you try doing that sitting, let alone driving a car. It's a frigging nightmare. It's like trying to do some weird contortion act whilst in the car seat, and it's just a nightmare. So then for a little while, I started not wearing the petticoats and putting the petticoat on once I got to the venue, but in the car, so that I could turn up and do a big grand entrance. That was a nightmare. There I am in the car, trying to like squeeze my way around getting this like big petticoat on. Not good look, not good look. And yes, people were walking past, and yes, people were staring, so that's lovely. Funnily enough, I don't really like being the center of attention when it's not intentional. So people staring at you because you're dressed as a princess, I hate it. Second worst thing, actually no, this goes back onto the travel situation. Getting in your car as a princess, driving along, and the petrol light coming on, and you thinking, oh man. And then you've got no choice but to go out in a full-on princess dress and get petrol. That is possibly one of the most embarrassing things ever. So I've learned from that mistake, and now I always check there's petrol in the car the day before a party. The second thing that's, I wouldn't say a con, it's more of a challenge about being a princess performer, is the kids trying to catch you out with every single question, especially if they're like a big fanatic of whatever you're being. Catching you out, or wigs, that's the big one. If you're wearing a wig, that's not your real hair. And I have every answer under the sun. Oh, of course it is. Yes, it is. Of course it's my real hair. How rude of you. But yeah, kids will question you. There will be one every single party that will question you. So if anyone out there is thinking of being a princess performer or being a party entertainer, my biggest advice would be have an answer for everything before it even comes up, because it will. It will. Throughout my party entertainer career, there has been some really, really funny moments though, like really funny moments. Actually, I think was it this year? Well, it'll be last year now. I did a double party with two princesses, and we turned up and one of the kids said, "What has happened to your hair? Your hair's a mess." With this beautiful wig, right? And I think it wasn't me, it was at the other girl, and the other girl just turned around and said, "Oh, it's been a long day." I just thought that was the best response ever. But yes, they will come out with all sorts of funny things, and some of the stuff they come out with is absolutely brilliant. Actually, in all honesty, I should probably write a book. Next time, oh, this whole year, okay, that's another New Year's resolution. Any party that I go to, any funny phrases that come out, I'm gonna write them down, and then if there's enough, maybe I'll do a video about it, because it's great. Ah, yes, another con that's becoming more and more recent now is I've been doing princess parties for a long, long time. I mean, about 10 years. And when I first started out, there was hardly any companies doing it at all. And I was quite proud of myself that I'd kind of found this niche market that no one else was doing. However, last couple of years, there are so many princess party companies now that if you go to a party as a princess, more than likely, most of those kids would have gone to another party at some point and had another princess entertain. So at some point in the party, most parties, a kid will come up and say, oh, hi, I saw you last week at my friend's party. Do you remember doing this? Do you remember playing this game? Do you remember doing this magic trick? Do you remember? And you're like, that wasn't me. But you just have to go along with it because obviously you don't want to spoil the magic. That's the most amazing part about doing this job, is keeping it magical. So you just go along with it. Yes, of course. And this is what I mean, have an excuse for everything, have an answer for everything. My answer would be, oh yes, of course, but you know, I go to so many parties, I can't always remember every single person. So that's another one. The other thing that's becoming really frequent, and I'm not sure why, I guess it's just because kids are so curious, is most parties now, I can pretty much guarantee at least one kid will try and look up my dress. I don't know why. I don't know if they're curious to see if you're actually a person or curious to see what you've got on underneath that dress. So most, I mean, this has happened a lot now, at least every other party, a kid will try and look at my dress. And you just see them going under and sliding on the floor and then lifting it up. And the hardest thing is because you're being a nice, happy character, you don't want to exactly turn around and be like, what are you doing? Get out of my dress. You have to be like, oh, you silly one, get out of there, and be in character. But yeah, that's weird. And that happens a lot. Kids looking at your dress. But I've learned from this, and now, as princess-like as it is, I wear leggings under my dress. just in case any embarrassing moments like that do arise. Okay, so the other one is actually, I wouldn't say serious, but really important, and a lot of the parents don't realise this, is that when you're trying to entertain the kids, you know, you want to engage their attention and you want them to listen to you. So there's nothing worse than being in a huge hall and having lots and lots of mums and dads all chatting. It's a nightmare. Parties like that, even if I am wearing a microphone, I will really, really hurt my voice because you have to project and you have to push to get over the sound of the mums and dads, especially if it's an echoey hall. They are the worst. Just a little bit of chit chatter is suddenly 10 times louder. So if you've got 20 kids and every kid has brought a mum and dad to their party, that's 20 or 25 parents plus mums and dads. That could be 40 parents in one room, and you're trying to entertain some kids and you're trying to fight over 40 voices. And it's hard work. Even with a microphone, it's so hard work. So, you know, I try and say this to mums and say this to dads, and you never want to offend them because obviously you know that they're still trying to have a good time too. But it's the kids' party. So I hate when that happens. And you just know the second you walk in the hall if it's gonna be one of those parties. And straight away I'm like, okay, let's get a glass of water ready because this is gonna be a pusher. And very much along those lines is attending parties and there being a bouncy castle. Because again, if you're entertaining kids and you're trying to get them involved in games and stories and whatnot, if there's a bouncy castle, you're not going to get them for the whole hour or 2 hours or however long you've got. And I pride myself on doing a very good job at keeping them and getting them with me. However, if there is a bouncy castle, number one, you're competing over the noise of the bouncy castle, and number two, it's so much harder to just keep their attention because there's a distraction there, and a really fun distraction. So sometimes I just give up and then, you know, go, well, let's all just go on the bouncy castle for 5 minutes, way. The other thing, which is really offensive as a performer, is a lot of people trying to haggle with prices with you. Now, I know if you just look at the price of hiring an entertainer, you may be like, that's really expensive. So averaging, I mean, I mean, I think I charge sort of below the market, to be honest, but you're averaging about sort of £200 for a 2-hour party, approximately, for an entertainer, and a lot of people think that's a lot of money, but what you forget is you're getting costume, usually at least £100, wigs, again, 50 to £100, that's already £200 there, equipment of whatever the entertainer is bringing. So for me, that would be glitter tattoos, face paints, obviously my microphone, my speakers, games, balloons, magic show, parachute, like all sorts of things. Pass the parcel I provide as well. So already that's another, like, what, a couple of £100. Then you've got insurance, obviously promotion for yourself, transport, so all these little things, right? So if you were to do a one-off party as an entertainer, you probably should charge at least £1,000, because that's how much it costs to do the job. So when you then charge, you know, obviously you're not gonna charge £1,000 for a party, but that annoys me, because I think people don't realise how difficult it is. And not just that, the training it takes to do it. I'm a professional singer and an actress, and I use that in my parties as well. And you know, if you can hire any old person off the street to dress up in a princess dress, really, but if you want a good person to do a good job, you gotta pay the money. Anyway, my camera battery is flashing, surprise, surprise, and I just wanna, like, kind of quickly round this one up anyway, because I just wanted to do a quick chit chat about parties, because, you know, that's what I do on the weekends and I really enjoy doing it. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give it a little like down there, and if you do see the little button that kind of looks like a bell kind of next to the subscribe thing, if you click that, you'll be notified every time I upload a video. I'm hoping to try and do this regularly now, so subscribe and you will be updated with any new videos that I post, and I hopefully are going to cover some much more different subjects and topics. So if you've got anything that you would like me to talk about, pop it in the comment box below and I will hopefully get back to you and try and do that. So anyway, that's all for now. Total rambles as always. I'll speak to you very soon, everyone. Hope you're well. Take care. Bye.